He watched me from the woods and I knew I had to get away. It was late autumn. The kind where the air bites at your exposed skin and the leaves are all brittle and brown underfoot. I lived alone in a small cabin nestled deep in the woods, my little sanctuary, a place to escape the noise and chaos of the city. I loved the solitude, the quiet broken only by the rustling leaves and the occasional hoot of an owl. I always took the same route for my evening walks. A winding trail that followed the creek, eventually looping back to the cabin. It was a familiar path, one I knew like the back of my hand. That's probably why I noticed him so quickly. The first time I saw him, he was just a shadow at the edge of the woods. Tall, gaunt, almost skeletal in the fading light. He was standing motionless, just watching me. I told myself it was nothing, just a hiker who'd gotten lost, or a hunter scoping out the area. I waved, offered a nervous smile, and hurried on. But he was there again the next day. Same spot, same posture. Just watching. This time, my blood ran cold. This wasn't a hiker. This wasn't a hunter. This was something else. I quickened my pace, my heart hammering against my ribs. I kept glancing back, but he never moved. He just stood there, a silent, menacing figure at the edge of my world. I started carrying pepper spray, and a small, heavy flashlight. I varied my route, walked at different times of day. But he always seemed to find me. Sometimes he'd be closer, lurking behind a tree, his eyes burning into me. Other times he'd be further back, a dark silhouette against the dense foliage. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of orange and purple, I decided to take a different path, one that led through a particularly dense section of the woods. I figured I might lose him in the thick undergrowth. I was wrong. I heard the snapping of twigs behind me, a sound that sent a jolt of pure terror through my veins. I started to run, my lungs burning, my legs screaming in protest. I could hear him gaining on me, the sound of his heavy footsteps pounding against the leaf-strewn ground. I tripped over a fallen log, sprawling onto the cold, damp earth. I scrambled to my feet, my hands covered in dirt and leaves. He was there, standing just a few feet away, his face obscured by the shadows. He didn't say a word. He just stared at me, his eyes glinting in the dim light. It was the most terrifying thing I'd ever seen. I fumbled for the pepper spray in my pocket, my hands shaking so badly I could barely grip it. I pointed it at him and squeezed the trigger. A cloud of orange mist erupted, engulfing his face. He recoiled, clutching at his eyes, and let out a guttural roar. I didn't wait to see what he would do. I turned and ran, blindly, desperately, through the woods. I didn't stop running until I reached my cabin, slamming the door shut and bolting it tight. I huddled inside, shaking and sobbing, until the first rays of dawn peeked through the trees. I left the cabin that morning and never went back. I sold it a few weeks later. Even now, years later, I still have nightmares. I still see his face in the shadows, hear his footsteps behind me. I don't think I'll ever truly feel safe again.